EA and DICE have had a very rocky relationship over the last year or two, following the massive controversies of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I say a year or two, it's actually going way farther back. And the financial disappointment of Battlefield 5 and 2042, EA completely restructured how they're holding the Battlefield IP moving forward, reportedly handing it off to a new studio made up of former Battlefield developers and led by none other than Vince Zampella of Respawn Entertainment, formerly of Call of Duty. Now, rest assured, Battlefield will return in the future. But right now, we have no idea when or what the new game will look like. But interestingly, a number of Battlefield 6 details have leaked on 4chan. I know it's 4chan, but it's interesting from someone who claims to be a viable source of information. But once again, it's 4chan, so there's no way to verify their identity. So today, we're going to go over all of the leaks and rumors about Battlefield 6. Welcome to the page, everybody. Do you think Battlefield as a franchise is dead, or do you think they have one more spark to actually get it right? Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, and we start off with the leaker claiming to be a former employee of DICE. He was fired during the latest round of layoffs. So in case you've somehow missed it, there's been a massive layoff, just massive layoffs everywhere in the tech industry. And while there haven't been many reports about EA actually lightening their workforce, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're doing it quietly in the background, especially since their stock prices aren't looking the best right now. It seems this former DICE employee, alleged, was pretty angry about the situation, decided to take to 4chan to spill the beans on the next Battlefield game. Again, take it with a huge, big, fat lump grain of salt, because it's a good possibility it's fake, but once again, it's interesting. According to this leaker, the new game is actually called Battlefield 7, which is kind of odd because most of us were expecting it to be Battlefield 6. The last numbered Battlefield game was Battlefield 5 back in 2018, but if these leaks end up being true, it seems EA and DICE are basically going to be referring to Battlefield 2042 as BF6, and the next big game will be BF7. Okay, on one hand, it makes sense since the new game will be the second sequel to Battlefield 5. Then again, it sounds a little strange to jump from BF5 to BF7 when it comes to official titles, but that's probably the least of their worries. So the leaker claims that Battlefield 7 is targeting a release in 2024-2025, which is a pretty huge release window, but it's also a safe distance from the last release, so it would make sense. Battlefield 2042 launched in October of 2021, and given how embarrassing it was for everybody involved, I would imagine that EA wants to move on as quickly as possible, but they also don't want to rush anything out the door again, so fall 2024 seems like the earliest we would see it. The leaker also claims the new game will be next-gen only, which makes sense as well because of how outdated the Xbox One and the PS4 have become in recent years. Now, there will reportedly be a brand new engine, and the game will be revealed at EA Play 2023, but there won't be a beta until summer of 2024. Now, the whole brand new engine thing for Battlefield and Call of Duty and all these other FPS games, sometimes that means a brand new engine. Most of the times it means an engine that has been updated on the ground and framework of the original engine. So when you hear brand new engine, don't get too excited until that's actually confirmed. Now let's talk about the setting of the gameplay. Battlefield 7 seems to be set before Battlefield 2042, which makes the title even more confusing, but I digress. It will take place between the years 2020 and 2030. There will be a single-player campaign that will be a direct follow-up to Battlefield 4 Final Stand, and it will focus on attempts to stop Russia from forming the Pact. Now, the player will once again control Wrecker, and there will be a heavy emphasis on emotional storytelling and impressive set pieces. Multiplayer will feature up to 128 players, and there will be 7 maps planned for launch. Now, every map will have one big destruction event. You guys remember Levolution. And one of the maps will apparently be a completely destructible city. Specialists are unfortunately going to be returning from Battlefield 2042, but there will be a classic mode available that will presumably have traditional classes. Now, let's talk about guns and customization. This leaker allegedly claims that it's basically a carbon copy of Call of Duty's gunsmith system, which I'm not sure if the Battlefield community is going to like or hate that. The leaker also claims that a skill-based matchmaking system is currently being prototyped, but at this point, it's only a consideration and there's a chance the game launches without it. Now, the server browser will also return, but only for custom games, which I know that's going to be disappointment to a lot of people. Now, in addition to all these leaks, they say there's going to be a brand new Battlefield Battle Royale experience developed by Ripple Effect that will be free to play at launch and directly compete with Call of Duty's Warzone. You hear the irony or the satire in my voice. It's just we've heard this stuff so many times. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, It will feature the biggest map in Battlefield history, roughly double the size of the original Warzone map, Verdansk, and helicopters and tanks will be earned by completing contracts throughout the match, and then will be airdropped to the player, calling them in. Now, I have no doubt that helicopters, tanks, and a plethora of other vehicles will be in Battlefield, whatever it's going to be. In the Battle Royale mode, we'll probably have a heavy focus on classes, which is interesting, and the map is going to be set, allegedly, in Moscow. Now, I know, with everything going on in the real world, this is kind of eyebrow-raising, eye-opening, where they're talking about setting this and the storyline they're talking about going if it ends up true. The leaker also claims the BR mode will be this strange blend of BR and extraction, meaning you can either stick it out or try to be the last player standing, or you can extract from the match early and start your next match with better loot. So it looks like they're going to try to take Warzone and DMZ and Escape from Tarkov and who knows, Fortnite and everything else and come up with their own thing. Now, on one hand, I respect that. I like the fact they're going to, if this is true, they're going to try to innovate and make something that's not your cookie cutter Battle Royale. On the other hand, when you try to innovate like that, it's a huge risk because it could go really, really well and it could stick, or it could be a complete flop. And I do not think EA or Battlefield as a franchise brand IP can afford one more flop. I honestly think it's one and done. I think that's where we're at with the Battlefield franchise. I truly, truly feel that way. After what Battlefield 2042 didn't do, man, people just aren't going to take a chance. They're not going to take a risk with their hard-earned money. So what do you guys think? I mean, it sounds cool. It's pretty much exactly what the franchise would need after Battlefield 2042 did what it did, but with no real way to verify if the information is true, it's hard to say if we should believe it at all. EA is, yes, going to be eager to revive Battlefield. Absolutely. After 2042 destroyed the franchise's reputation right now in this game, it sounds like the kind of thing that could actually do it. Could be a response to all the backlash and the controversy, but again, it sounds a little too good to be true. So I'm not entirely sure a fired DICE employee would be comfortable revealing all of this on the internet because of how easy it could be traced back to them, at which point legal action would surely be taken, but I guess that's a story for another day. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll keep you posted if anything new comes. We know we're getting a Battlefield. Apparently it's not going to be Battlefield 6, it'll be Battlefield 7, but it's going to have to be done right. There's going to have to be a lot of thought put into this about the community and what people want. And if they come out with all the features from 2042 as a carbon copy, you can hang it up. It's toast before it even hits the shelves or the digital shelves. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you soon.